YETicket.com. I'm very excited because I'm getting ready to interview Yagel T. Welch. And the reason for that is because he's in this fabulous Broadway production play, To Kill a Mockingbird. Man, how you love doing this job. I bet you do, don't you?
Oh, no, it's a joy. I feel like I'm doing something that's meaningful, and I get to work with a terrific group. And we also get to travel to a lot of cool places like Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Tampa.
Yeah, well, that's my home state, Florida, and you come in here to Fort Lauderdale. Now, your character is Tom Robinson. Tell us a little bit about Tom Robinson.
Tom Robinson is a young 25-year-old Black male who is crippled. He only has one arm. And he happens to get caught up with the law because he's been accused of rape falsely by a young white girl, something that he possibly couldn't do. And the show sort of centers around the trial of Tom Robinson and him trying to be acquitted and how that affects a Southern white family.
Yeah, of course, this is based on the book To Kill a Mockingbird. And it is a book, well, over the years, had a lot of controversy.
Yes, it has.
And I'll tell you, this is a very, very good story. I remember reading this before I saw the movie in high school back in my day. I don't know if they're assigning to kids today. And then with this political rhetoric in school about critical race thinking and other things like that, I don't know if they still letting them read it today. And how did you become familiar with the story To Kill a Mockingbird before you got into play?
Same as you. In school, we read it. I watched the movie in grad school because I was studying Black actors, and I learned about Brock Peters, and I wanted to see the film that sort of gave him a name. Then I also got my union card into the Actors Equity Association doing a local tour of To Kill a Mockingbird in Boston. So the story's been in my life most of my life.
Wow,
so yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. That's really great. Well, for me, it's just that I read the book and I saw the movie. But I got a chance to meet Brock Peters in Chicago many years ago.
Cool.
He was doing Driving Miss Daisy. So I got to meet him after the play. He played Hulk.
Of course.
I think it's Hulk. In the play, you know. Wow. So what do you think of the story?
I think it's a wonderful story because it's about a time period where things were happening, and at one point in time when the story was written, this was considered the quote unquote, wokest way to look at the world and the wokest way to be of assistance to people who are of a darker hue. Now I think we can look back and evaluate, some of its flaws, but at the same time realize where we've grown from. Because now we see some of these things, okay, well, that's probably not correct. And we can grow from it. And then there are also things in the story that are still, unfortunately, so true and so relevant. When you're talking about Black people being mishandled in the hands of the law and sometimes killed, I mean, that's still happening. It's unfortunate that we still can say George Floyd or Tyree Nichols, or we can even talk about Breonna Taylor, where sometimes justice is never served for these people and they're just killed and it's okay. So I feel like it's unfortunately still relevant, but it's great that we have this story so we can see where we still have work to do. To Kill a Mockingbird allows us as a society to see what we've done well and also to see where we still have to work to. Because it was written in the late 50s, early 60s, and we look and we go, wow, some of this is still happening. But then we also go, wow, a lot of this isn't happening.
Yeah. Harper Lee did a great job with this, with the book, and now you in the play and you starring with Richard Thomas in here. He playing Atticus Finch. How's it working with that man? Because he's been around a long time and he's a very good actor.
He's a very good actor. Being on stage with him every night is a master class. Just watching him work. Sometimes I pinch myself, like, oh, wow, I'm gonna do a scene, just me and him on stage. It's a gift. He's one of the kindest people that you will ever meet, and genuinely kind. Brings nothing but lightness into the room, and I say that genuinely. I mean, he is somebody who I look to for how to lead a ship, because he brings that kind of energy that sort of rallies everybody together with positivity. Uh, Absolutely no ego or anything like that. I mean, he might have a little in his private life, but what he brings to us is nothing but humility.
Oh yeah. Now tell us a little about yourself. I noticed in the credits, you were you've been on, and you've done many plays. Also, you've done television and movies. And one of the TV shows that you did that I've watched, I'm still watching part two, is Harlem,
Yes.
and that's a very good show. But you've been in other shows too. But first, let's go back. How did you get started in acting? What inspired you to be an actor?
What inspired me to be an actor? I always looked to. I was always a strange kid, and I felt largely misunderstood. But I felt like people heard me and connected me with me through performance and primarily acting. And I really love the idea of embodying somebody else's journey, hopefully helping others to empathize and understand their perspective. Because I always felt um, not understood, I kind of wanted to give that voice to other circumstances. For people out there like me, for stories that may not be told. And I really um, like to tell stories and perform in plays and television shows and movies that really give voice to the unheard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like to tell stories that uplift disenfranchised communities, so we know their stories. And so, yeah, I think that's it. I want to contribute to the healing of society by bringing a greater standard of empathy to it.
Mm. Now, what movie or story really inspired you to say, "Hey, I really want to do that"? Because when I speak to many actors, including myself, I saw a movie, I saw a TV show to say, "I want to do that." So, do you remember that time?
Oh my God, there were so many times. Like when you're bit by this bug, you're bit by it. And I knew. I mean, I could say it was from watching episodes of The Cosby Show or Good Times or The Jeffersons growing up, or even seeing all the young child actors on, uh, let's say, Family Matters. But there were movies that were like, pivotal. Like The Color Purple was pivotal. um,
Mm,
Pivotal. That story has always moved me. Seeing Denzel's performance in Malcolm X, pivotal, um, because I watched him just sort of transform before my eyes. I mean, Malcolm X is light skinned. Denzel's not even light skinned, but I thought he was light skinned in that movie. Like he transformed in so many ways, and they didn't lighten his skin. He somehow just became Malcolm X before my eyes. I could say uh, I was almost even doubly certain when I saw Sophie's Choice.
mm.
Watching Meryl Streep make
Excellent
that
movie.
choice. You know, you know, but there have been so many different performances, and I'm also very moved by the work of August Wilson and a lot of Spike Lee's work, because it was so specific, and he had a voice for he gave voice to so much of the Black American experience in this country that I really want, as did August Wilson, that I really want to sort of find my way into that sort of room,
Right.
but tell stories from my perspective
Mm-hmm.
as a Black man, because I'm growing up in a totally different time than those men, and the Black story lives on, and I want to contribute to that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been bit a long time. Even performing, I love to watch Michael Jackson perform those music videos. The storytelling is what, and the spectacle and the wow of it all is what really got me. And I wanted, um, I want to be a part of that. I want to find that in myself, and each role gives me an opportunity to tap into something closer to that within my own artistic craft.
Wow, that's really great, and I love the way you explained that. Well, you're coming here to Broward, to the Broward Center for Performing Arts in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's a very beautiful theater. Have you ever performed there before?
No, I've never been to Fort Lauderdale. Ironically, I was born in Miami, but I was only there for 6 months of my life, the first 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And so this is a sort of a coming close to home, because I know Fort Lauderdale's not too far from Miami. But I'm looking forward to it because I've never actually, like, as an adult, been to this part of the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well, it's beautiful
never.
here. I love it. I'm from Chicago originally myself, and I've been down here for over 30 years now in South Florida, and I love it down here. It's just like paradise as far as weather and getting out and things like that. But they have great entertainment. Broward Theater is one of the places where they have great theater, and I love attending that theater because it's beautiful and the sound system is great, the lighting and also, but they bring fabulous actors like you, Yagel, to the stage. Just one more question. Now, in performing To Kill a Mockingbird, when you were cast for this role, how much did you see yourself in your character? I'm talking about your own personal self. Did you see yourself in the character?
Yeah, I think in ways it's hard for me not to see another Black man and not see myself in so many ways. But I would say that Tom makes the mistake of being helpful and being earnest. And it gets him into some deep, deep trouble. I've been there. I've been at a place where I have felt in life like I have no way out, and I've had to call on help, and I thought I wouldn't make it, and I've had to take big risks to try to survive. I've been there. I understand, I'll never understand what it's like to be a sharecropper, but I do understand what it's like to be a Black man in America in my time and live in my set of unjust circumstances and have to fight through all of that. So I've been there, and I can only do one thing, is connect and empathize with that from the perspective that I live. But I also understand that what I can't connect to is the magnitude of disrespect that I think African Americans had to endure during the 1930s and Jim Crow. There's a greater level. That's what I say. Going back and looking at the book, the gift we have is we can see from whence we came. We are not there anymore. I don't have to get off the sidewalk because a white person is passing. I don't have to not look somebody in the eye because they're white. I am in many ways treated as an equal in this society, and that's the gift of To Kill a Mockingbird. We see where we've come from, and we see what we have to work on.
Exactly. Well, Yagel, thank you for taking these few minutes with me, Al McGee at YEticket.com. But I want to thank you for being an artist, being an actor, and being the person that I just talked to. And I cannot wait to see your performance. I am going to see it next week. And I hope to get a chance to meet you after the play and just say hello and meet the real
hero. By the stage door. Say hello.
Okay, I will. And thank you very much. Have a great day, but have success in your future as an actor and as an artist and as a working Black man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was my pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie reviews.